Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, where our goal is to expand your focus and perspective on life. This is your daily dose of motivation, mindfulness, and so much more. And now, here to help you take your day back, your host, Dan Hafner.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into another episode of the Run Your Day podcast. As always, Dan Hafner joining you here. It is Thursday morning, January 17th, 2019. Today's topic is this: of course, you're worthy. As always, thank you all for joining. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. It's going to be a good one. So, today, wanted to talk about this topic of worthiness. And honestly, we could go all day about this one. But there was a situation actually with my wife where there was this conversation we were having, and there was this thing she brought up to me was basically in this situation where she works, that someone had approached her about becoming, like, stepping into a leadership role for like a different committee or whatever she was doing. And she honestly was kind of taken aback by it. And she kind of had this idea that she really, like, she was honored to be thought of in that way, but it was kind of like, well, it was almost like that self-doubt, right? And I've had the same thing happen to me, right? Like, where someone had approached me and thought of, like, hey, would you ever be considered would you ever consider, pursuing leadership or spearheading this effort, or, stepping up to lead this team or do whatever. And I've had the same type of approach of like, well, I mean, I guess, right? So I think we both kind of have this like leadership, fear, I guess is what it would be. But I learned this lesson from it, was that, like, of course you're worthy. Even if you don't feel like you are a leader or you are someone that can lead by example, of course you can. I honestly, I have struggled with feelings of self-worth, of, belonging and stuff for a lot of my life. And even though I've moved past that, it really was a dark time in my life. Even when I look back when I was younger, I didn't even realize it, but I did kind of, have to deal with a lot of that. I never really belonged to a certain, friend group, and I always had friends in different circles and was kind of always like a floater. And that was a good thing. Like, I could get along with anyone. I could talk with anyone. I could have an intelligent conversation with anyone. But I never like self-identified with one group, right? And I guess, like, looking back on it, it kind of came back to haunt me later in my life with these feelings of self-worthlessness and not belonging, right? And almost like unworthiness of being able to lead, being able to be an authority, being able or worthy of being a leader, right? And, as I sat here in this conversation with my wife and talked about this, I really was taken aback by, it's really like, of course you'd be a good leader. Of course you'd be you're someone that doesn't like to please everyone all the time. You lead by example. You don't take, excuses, accept excuses. Like, of course you'd be a good leader. Right. But it's hard to see that outside of yourself. Like, if you can see it externally in other people, and you could say, like, yeah, of course you're worthy of that. Like, you would be great at that. But inside of ourselves, there's always this element of doubt, of insecurity, of like, why me? Right. Like, why would I be worthy of something? Someone else is clearly more deserving of that. And I think this is like something that we all can fall victim to in really any area of our life. And it's something that can plague your thoughts and plague your success, honestly. So, how do you move past that? Like, how do you get to the point where, okay, I can feel worthy that I deserve this. Like, I deserve this promotion. I deserve to, be fit and lean and toned, or whatever it is. Or I deserve to, make more money, or whatever it might be, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know the answer. Like, there's multiple ways to do this. You know, what worked for me, and what I can tell you what worked for me is kind of just going through it, honestly. Like you just figuring out the root cause of why do you feel unworthy of things? Is it because you never were actually able to achieve things when you were younger? Is there a certain situation in your life where you were made to feel unworthy and you've carried that feeling around forever? You know, have you just never thought of yourself as worthy of achieving great things? You know, that was always me. Like, I've never thought of myself as being even worthy or capable of achieving great things. And then I take a step back and I ask other people and I hear things from other people, and it's amazing to me what people think of me. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it's just something that, you know, it's really amazing when you actually take a step back and see how you're perceived. And then it kind of gives you like this thing of like, oh, wow, like, you know, maybe I am worthy of that. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you like think you're deserving and you're hot shit and you can do whatever you want and you're worthy of this and worthy of that. And then you ask people around you, or you get this vibe from people around you that, no, man, like, you need to work on a lot of other things before you're capable of doing that, or we would even trust you with doing that. And that's the other end of the spectrum, right? Where you actually aren't worthy of something because you've had this aura of arrogance or cockiness, and you think you're deserving of something when you're really not, you know? So, like I said, I could talk all day about this topic. I try to make these episodes short, but moving past this feeling unworthy of whatever you feel unworthy of just comes through this process of self-discovery, of just figuring out like why you have that thought or feeling, and figuring out a way to get past that. And you can always talk to people. Like, you can message me if you want. You can talk to people that are close to you, you know, and figuring out like, well, if I want this, you know, I have to think that I'm worthy of it first. You just have to. So my question for you today is this: you know, where in your life do you think that you are unworthy of something that you might actually be worthy of? Is it a new job? Is it a new promotion? Is it, you know, more money? Is it a better fitness routine? Do you think you can actually win a 5K race or whatever it might be? You know, where in your world are you not feeling worthy of something when in reality you are? And what can you start doing in order to get past that feeling of unworthiness? Because you are worthy. You are worthy. I promise you. So that's going to wrap up today's show. As always, thank you all for joining. Really, really appreciate you guys. We'll come back at you with one more episode for the week tomorrow, Friday morning. And that will be all for the week. And as always, check us out on our Facebook page, Run Your Day. Trying to build up that community of people to get some more, engagement and conversation going in there as well. As always, thank you all for joining. Really, really appreciate you guys joining in here every day. Views are going up and up and up. This show's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm loving it. All right. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the Run Your Day podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, feel free to share today's show with friends and family. Until next time, have a great day.